Okay, Chad Weber here from Loan Officer Marketing Lab, and I am joined here today by Mr. Chris Napier. Chris, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. And Chris, so glad you can join us today. Just so you guys know, Chris has been doing some pretty amazing things in his market, both when it comes to just general lead generation for individuals looking to buy or sell a home, as well as he's put together some pretty extraordinary processes to really go in and laser target real estate agents as well. So, Chris, you've been doing some pretty amazing things. I've been reading your emails, reading your updates and reports, and pretty exciting things going on there. So if you don't mind, just have a couple of questions here that I'd like to ask you. Certainly a lot of people out there wanting to know what works in today's marketplace. And first of all, find out a little bit about your experience over the past 60 days, for example.
My exact experience has been actually transformational. One of the classic stories of loan officers that we have is, as a sales pitch to, say, real estate agent, is we basically kind of say, we promise we won't mess up your home, please give it to us. That's the reason why we usually have the standard responses. I already have a lender, I have an MSA worked out, and they just start rebuffing it immediately because we don't offer any value beyond we promise not to mess it up.
Right.
This particular process adds a lot of value because I'm coming to them as a partner and actually going into it as a partnership. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually getting in front of the buyers before the real estate agents find them. Because traditionally, people find houses, then find the mortgage, and not every case, but that's the majority of the case. So they find the house, then they find the mortgage as the necessary evil to make the dream happen. By that point, it's already in the real estate agent's hand, and so if we're not having that relationship with the real estate agent, then we don't get that lead, and we definitely don't get the referrals. So what I'm doing is I'm getting to the buyer before them, and it's changing the dynamic of it immediately. In fact, there has been discussions among myself and some other people. There is a number two producer here in this where I'm at in New Mexico, and his team produced so far year to date in the first 6 months of this year 238 closings.
Wow!
More than half were purchases, and the other were listings. That's on an average for a real estate agent of at least 19 to 25 closings per month on the buy side. With this system, there's a real possibility that once I get a little more proof behind the pudding and get some more closings under my belt and refine it a little bit more, I could actually get them down and destroy about 4 or 5 other MSAs, things like that, because I can add value that no one else can even come close to.
Wow. So how many, you said that was year-to-date closings?
Yeah, year-to-date.
Wow.
You'll probably
that's
$50 million this year.
That's tremendous. That's beyond good. That's absolutely, that's amazing. That's career-changing. Now, if you don't mind, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I'm actually considering, do I want his business or not? Because I'm actually going after, I got about 4 or 5 other real estate agents already. So it's, and the referrals that are coming off of it already. So it's, the system is working. I'm already busier than I need to be.
Nice. Well, I'm sure a lot of people would love to be busier than they need to be versus not busy enough. So that's fantastic. Now, what would you say? Like for example, you mentioned due to your activity and the things that you've been making happen in your marketplace, that's what made this even a potential reality with this agent team that closed over 200 transactions in the first 6 months of the year. What is it that you've been doing, I guess would be the appropriate question, that's allowed you to get the attention of such heavy hitters and with these local real estate agents in your marketplace?
The difference between me, myself, and how every other loan officer does it is I create what real estate agents need. That agents need transactions. I actually help create both listings, buyers for listings, and buyers in general. I create what they need, which is live bodies just like I do, mortgages. I'm able to end up getting in front of these real estate agents and say, well, not only can I promise the same thing that everybody else promises, which is good rates, great service, we call time, we make you look good, which has been the same pretty much story for years.
Right.
We do a great tap dance just like everybody else does. I'm going to them and saying, well, that's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. So instead of coming to a new real estate agent saying, well, I can do the job that you already have a mortgage guy doing, can you knock him out of his place and put me in his place instead? That's one reason for the real time. So instead of actually going to, I've been in those meetings where they say, well, be number two, because you all know that even if you're number one real estate agent, eventually the mortgage process is complicated enough. Something's going to go wrong. They're going to get, and because there's 6 guys behind you that can do the exact same thing, you're going to be knocked off your perch. So if you get 3 or 4 number ones where you get your business from, the way you protect your business is to end up at 5 or 8 more number 2 positions that, eventually they're going to get their perch, and then you'll be number 1. And it's the merry-go-round. I don't like that business model. It's not sustainable to me. So
right.
Instead of coming to them and saying, let me be number 2, I'm all be number 1 for a short period of time, because eventually mistakes happen because their mortgages are complicated enough to where I'll end up that. Now I'm coming to them and saying, okay, I can do everything that your current mortgage guy can do, and not only can I help service what you have, I'm going to add 50% to your bottom line this year. So if you're making $60,000, I'm going to pay you $30,000. Here's how I'm going to do that. So it becomes a little personal. And so I'm able to target mid-grade agents, and there's been discussions with some of my mastermind group is if I should go after the number 2 guy in town.
Right.
And some people are aware of what I do, but they don't know how I do it, and they're already trying to either for me to go to work with their office, I think, to protect that account, or to go after that account. I've had 5 meetings in the last week with other mortgage companies that have asked me to do it for them, what I could do here at my current company, going after number 2.
Wow. Well, so you've made enough of a splash in your local marketplace, just to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying, that you actually have other mortgage companies approaching you saying, hey, Chris, can you show us how to do this, or can you help make this a reality in our business as well? Is that an accurate statement?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Because what's happening is some of the mid-grade agents that I'm picking say, well, absolutely no, I won't do business with you, because I already got business with Chris, and he feeds me business. He feeds business. And so what happens is these other agents have come out and said that, and I'm on the board of directors here, so I'm more kind of a semi-known commodity here anyway. So they call up and say, Chris, I've heard good things. Go to lunch. And
Very
that's exactly
powerful.
how it happened.
Very powerful. Now, you sent an email probably about roughly a month and a half ago, and you were telling me that you were seeing a fundamental mind shifting or shifting in behavior of agents towards you. Can you speak a little bit more as to what you meant by that the agents were treating you differently compared to the past number of years you've been in the business?
Mm-hmm. Sure. There's been two agents in particular. They're a self-promoted group called the Elite 25. I've done business for more of them personally. I've done some more years in personal finances. And then because of the companies I was at, we messed something up. And I'm no longer with them. But I called them up as I was developing the system up and this process with you. And what happened was both of these other agents said, what you're doing is impossible, and actually got really mad, which was mind-blowing to me. But what I've realized is I actually picked up 5 other agents, and I've had my shoes literally polished by a real estate. Took me to lunch, bought me whatever I wanted, and then said, let's go polished. Now, that's always been kind of a joke as you're trying to butter somebody up. Let's go get a shoes polished. I've looked at it for some reason. I've never even seen it. Never even heard anybody else is really, truly a real estate agent polishing your shoes. I picked up another real estate agent that returned my call. That I like doing business for no other reason, Jen. We just lost touch. She was so busy that she didn't call. I left a message saying, I'm generating business. Would you like some? Call me back. Click. I got a phone call, showed up her office, told her how I'm going to help her business. In the last 2 weeks, I've received 8 leads from her, and I've given her 5 in return. So what I've done with my real estate agents is come to them and say, look, here's how I'm going to help you. Here's how you're going to help me. A mortgage guy can, by accident, give you a referral every once in a while because your business is not designed for it. On purpose, I run the numbers, and I've done it where I can relatively safely say I can generate 60 referrals to real estate agents per month. Out of that 60, I can pre-qualify the first conversation or second conversation with these leads, anywhere between 16 and 20 of them. Out of the, say, let's go low and say 16 people will be pre-qualified, looked at income document, ready to go, pre-qualified. Out of that 16, 5 of them a month have to buy a house. Just have to. Just law of average. Out of the 5, let's say one fails for whatever metric reason. Okay? So I'm going to close 4 deals at about an average of $150,000 to $200,000 a month without the need of a real estate agent to give it to me, at a cost of 83 cents per lead. The total when I go through from raw lead to finished product, just the lead cost is $22.50.
Wow. Wow. So from point of lead generation to closing, you're saying $22 in cost roughly?
$22.50.
$22.50. Wow. Wow. And now when you're describing these closings here and the money spent to get them from point of lead generation to closing, now you're talking efforts that are taking place or directly attributable to your consumer direct marketing, correct? This is not, taking into consideration the referrals that are coming from the agents. This is just strictly your effort.
No, this is only me.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm. This is only me. Only me.
Okay. Absolutely.
Because I'm not, I'm only thinking of mine. I would never speak of, the referrals. And here's the fun part. Now, here's the dynamic change I've seen in real estate and in my own behavior. Okay. I've actually told them, okay, I'm going to give you 5 referrals. Where are mine? Fair share. And now I have them working on my stuff. I've actually had to fire 2 real estate agents already for not following up on my deals. So, and the other fun part is, the other real estate agents, I clearly tell them, by the way, you're getting this lead because the other guy didn't follow up on it.
Nice. And what does it take?
And you know what's amazing? They kind of go, okay, cool. And they realize that they could lose it too. Right. Without having to tell them.
So, in other words, what I'm hearing then is you've kind of turned the tables on the agents now.
It's a different mindset.
So they're coming to you. And you're kind of calling the shots here, and you're kind of stepping up and saying, listen, here's my requirements in order for you to benefit from the leads, from this huge amount of leads that I'm self-generating, then I have these expectations. And if they don't meet those expectations, then you're the one firing them, as opposed to typical, scenario is it's the realtor firing the loan officer, or saying, hey, you weren't able to get this deal closed, so, I'm sending my business elsewhere, or using that as a threat. But at this point, it's right. You are the one that's kind of in control and in the driver's seat when it comes to that lead and who gets what. Would that be an accurate assessment?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not actually. What it comes down to is, are you going to be my partner or not? I can give you, I make it personal for my agents, just like it should be. I mean, one of my agents has 2 child support payments. I tell them, literally, I stay up at night figuring out how I'm going to end up making your child support payment. How many other mortgage guys could actually say that? Right. Now my question is how are you going to end up making sure my kids eat? This is personal. This is business, but this is also personal. And, I texted one of them earlier today, what deals do you have me to work on today? Like right now. And scrambling. I don't have any today, but I will find one for you. Okay, great.
Love it.
It's not to end up beating them up. It's just, what it is for me is, okay, I'm going to perform. I'm going to perform, I'm going to work, I'm going to find these clients, and I'm going to go through it. And, I already have deals September, October, and December already. I got buyers identified that want to buy September, October, and December out of the system in 60 days. So I'm building a future pipeline.
So what was the time frame, if you kind of take us back a little bit, what was the time frame to get to this point that you're describing now, to where you feel confident that you can project your earnings and closings, or at least a rough estimate of what you'll be closing even at the end of the year? What did it take for you to get to that level of confidence and to this point where you have agents literally scrambling when you ask them, hey, what do you have for me? And they're saying, hey, well, I will find something for you. How long did it take for you to get to that point?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Literally 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
From the very first time I ever did anything to the end, I had everything, and I had to bloody my nose. Don't get me wrong. There's still a learning curve, and there still is a learning curve. I will not pretend I have it now because I don't. But, at this point, I can generate the business on demand.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to slow it down because I got too many leads to work through, I just shut it off. Now, you understand, I talked to the owner of a national real estate company that is doing exactly what I'm doing on an enterprise level, doing it on a national level. He has retail branches going in, and he actually has like a quick-in call center. Okay? He and I debated this. He actually sat down with me, and smartest guy I've met in a long time, and it's actually referred to kind of, he was traveling from Boston he lives out of San Diego. Just happened to drop in to see how his brand new branch is doing, and I know the guys who run it. So they said, you got to talk to this guy. Sure. So I did. His name is Josh, the owner of a company and he's backed by the guys who actually created Quicken. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So I expect his mortgage company to do what Quicken did. The exact same guys who built Quicken are building his company. Okay?
Wow.
So he's not immune to it. He's creating his own CRM system. He's creating everything, his own stuff. He said he's spending anywhere from $10 for bad leads to $150 for super deluxe leads. He cannot get his conversion ratios anywhere near mine. Nowhere near him.
Wow.
His conversion ratio is 3 to 4%. Mine right now are 8, 9%. That's closings. That's not and some twice the average, and then actual closings. But I watch all my ratios from raw to, they gave me information on a squeeze page, and then they do, they go through it. They figure everything out. So it's different. I watch it more than probably most people do, but I'm also branding myself in a way that is different. Mm-hmm. Not everybody out of the 60 people, like on a monthly basis, for example, will buy a home. They just won't. They won't qualify. They're not really interested. They just wanted to figure out who's doing what. Okay, fine. I'll still give them the system. I don't care. It cost me 85 cents or cents to put them in the system. Okay. What's amazing, though, is that all I need to do, instead of doing general advertising, I'm going to do some advertising to these people. And eventually, I'm going to co-brand it with my real estate agents. That's why they like it so much. Because whoever has the most friends wins. Not every friend of yours is going to buy from you. Just not going to happen. So don't try to make it. Right. So I create 40 people a month that know my message, give something of value to them that's authentic. Eventually, even if they never buy a house, if they hear of anybody, I hope I've created a profit, which is nothing more than a guy goes, oh, you want to buy a house? You need to talk to these guys. Here's their name and phone number. And I did it for no cost. Right. Instead of wasting money hoping to find somebody that's interested in talking about it.
Absolutely. So you're building an actual audience for yourself. So you're taking I guess the proper word would be an almost organic approach in that you see I got X amount of data coming in each month, and you're looking at the law of averages and the law of numbers and saying, hey, every single one of those isn't going to buy a home this month, but I'm going to sift through and find the people who can, but I'm also not going to give up on the people who are not buying this month. I'm going to put them in my system because it only costs me 85 cents to generate these leads, and I'm going to make sure that I am in front of them when they are ready to buy a home. So that's how you're able to not only hand out so many deals, and I believe you said between 15 and 20 solid pre-qualification leads that you're able to actually give out to your local realtors each month. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, so you're
That's
able
correct.
to sift through those 60 leads that come in, identify 15 to 20 that are serious enough to be pre-qualified, and hand those out as leads. You're able to get 4 of them into your pipeline for realistic closings, and then the rest you're drip feeding and providing value to them so that you can start projecting, what's going to happen, even down the road, months down the road, what your conversion numbers look like.
Well, yes, but I'm doing it this way too, a little bit different. I'm actually taking, let's say it takes 350 people to go through the 60 that are referred to a real estate agent. Out of the 60, it's their job to get hot and lathered to buy a house. Okay? Out of the 60, I can qualify, let's say, just 15 to 20 that want to be pre-qualified right then and there. Okay? Out of the 15 to 20, we know that 4 or 5 of them are going to have to just by accident stumble into a house. Okay? They're not all going to buy right now, but that's how I pay the bills. Right? So I'm going to have 4 or 5 of my own closings per month. Then what happens is I got 40 people who are actually being talked to by real estate agents that are not on the pre-qual. So I got 20 pre-quals finding houses that the real estate agent find my house on because I'm sold deals. Then I got 40 people that are actually in front of a real estate agent getting dripped on with content that makes sense for them. And then I have 300 people, half which don't give me good information, so that leaves about 175. Take the 60 out that we already talked about. So that leaves 110 people I have addresses for that I can actually drip on because they raised their hand at one point and said, I'm it. Now, because I didn't get in touch with them, they didn't return a call, they didn't return an email, is irrelevant to me. I have 110 people per month or more that is going to be in my custom audience. So I'm designing a whole different marketing to talk to that 110 that you would for the 40 than you would for the 20.
Beautiful.
So I'm building my own audience, and if 110, let's say I grab 5% of the 110. Okay, I just grabbed 10 people a month that blew me off the first conversation I tried to have with them, but now take me serious at month 2 or month 3. Okay.
Absolutely.
It becomes self-perpetuating.
You got it. Now, that's a far cry from, I believe you told me when we first started coaching a couple months back, you told me that one of your local agents, and this was somebody that was a pretty good producer, if I'm recalling the story correctly, but you told me he described his view of loan officers as a speed bump to his paycheck. Did I retell that accurately? Is that what it's called? Okay, a speed bump to a paycheck.
That's the exact term he used. He goes, all of you guys are nothing more than a slow paycheck.
Wow. So what I get out of that is he's just lumping all loan officers together.
Top 10 agent in where I'm at. I wasn't dealing with, bottom end guys. I was dealing with a top 10 agent that had at least 5 to 10 closings per month. And I did all of them for him for years.
So going from that perspective or viewpoint that you're seeing this agent has of loan officers to the point where you have agents now bringing you out to lunch and paying to have your shoes shined and coming to you and basically jumping when you say jump as far as, hey, what do you got for me today? That's a far cry. But on top of that, now you have somebody that was actively involved in building a national chain and campaign, so a professional lead generator on a national level telling you that, hey, even at $150 a lead, I wouldn't be able to get to the conversion rates and numbers that you're at. And you're spending roughly 85 cents a lead. And he's telling you at $150 a lead, he could not duplicate what's happening here. That to me is impressive. And now you're not just that, but you're building a complete self-perpetuating lead funnel to where you are self-sufficient. Even if you never got a single referral from another agent, you would still be closing those 4 to 5 deals a month. So you don't have to worry, hey, does the mortgage get paid this month? But on top of that, you've created this goodwill because, you come bearing gifts, and those gifts are very, very high-quality leads. And now these agents are, I believe you said just one agent's already referred you somewhere between 5 and 8 deals, you said, just in the past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I've referred her 5 deals and 5 transactions. We talked about it for a week. I went to her office. Now, this is somebody I had personally bought all of my own personal real estate from. Okay? I have 5 or 6 properties. I bought all of my personal real estate from her. Okay? I trained her how to look at it as an investor, not a retailer. Then we lost touch with each other last year, even though I did her personal mortgage, right? Would not return my phone call to save my life on January, February of this year. I called her 2 or 3 times. I was dead to her, right?
Wow.
And I know why, because I had competitors that were doing a better job than me at that time. And so, I didn't offer any value to her. She'd do my business for me if I paid her to do it, but that was the kind of relationship I had with her. I like her personally. But what happened was, as soon as I called her, I said, I'm generating my own leads. I need somebody to help me do it. Call me back. Click. She did, remarkably. And I've now got 100% of her business, and she does $2 million a year, which is not bad. She has at least $2 million a year in production. That's my area. That puts her right in the middle. But I referred her 5 deals, but in the first week, it's been 3 weeks. First week, I didn't refer her anything. I just said, let's do this. She called me on a Wednesday night. I'll never forget this, because this is the conversations I'm now having. She on a Wednesday night says, Chris, you can trust me with your business. What do I have to do to prove that I'm to you? I'm sorry, I've never had this conversation before. Is what I just returned to her, and I said, look, I wouldn't even approach you if you weren't that way. I'm working on a couple of tweaks before I start generating again, so I make sure they're good quality leads. You'll get the next batch, okay? She goes, okay. I just wanted to make sure we're fine. Yeah, we're good. And then I gave her 5 leads. She's gone out of her way. I have 8 of hers. But I do want the system chat in such a way that I can generate business. I never need a referral from a real estate agent again. That's not my intention, but it's designed that way. I can actually get more business from them without issue.
Right. That's a true income stream. So you're 100% self-sufficient, if you need to be, but at the same time, it's nice to have that icing on the cake knowing that those referrals are coming in. And I like what you mentioned is you have basically recruited these agents to work the deals at a level that you wouldn't have time to. You're a busy person. All loan officers, we're all busy people. Recruiting them in such a way to work these transactions so that that they're being dripped on, that they're getting those phone calls, and that, hey, if you want to go see this home, oh, by the way, you probably need to go talk to my guy Chris, to make sure that you can afford this home or that you can qualify. That to me is a brilliant way to, leverage your time. So now you're not working, an insane amount of hours to keep up with all this activity that you've created, because your audience is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as you go along, and that means more and more and more people looking for homes and going to need your services, but you've recruited these agents to also help brand you because they're pushing you, not just themselves. And that to me is an integral part of creating something that's sustainable and scalable.
Well, and because of the system, okay, and I'll tell you the backstory to where all this is, why it's so dramatically different than my past. For the last 2 years, I've been fighting to save a marriage that didn't last. My marriage ended in February. Final divorce decree, the whole thing. I closed 3 deals in 8 months before the system started working. A total of 3 deals. So I went from 0 production to now I have a whole bunch of stuff in process. And what's interesting, too, I approached friends of mine to see if they like the idea to make sure I'm part of my mastermind group. They're not in the real estate business. They're referring people to me.
Oh, wow.
Out of my mastermind group.
Wow.
I actually have 3 deals in process right now from my mastermind group, and it's their personal deals because all of a sudden it's like this success breeds success. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to do business with you. Why? Well, because you're doing this. That makes no sense. But, okay, I'll take it. And,
love it.
As an example, I have 5 companies right now that's offered me a position to work based on a system I have. And one of them wants to scale it throughout the entire state of New Mexico and hire loan officers underneath me because the current way the MSAs are broken down, they're completely vulnerable for the next guy to either outpay them or outwork them. They do know that if they actually gave them business like I'm able to generate, they're not vulnerable to any other competitor stepping into the ring and taking that business away from them.
Right.
And I'm having strategic conversations with people to where they're actually going, Chris, we could scale this in 5 or 6 cities. Let's do this.
Wow.
So these are the conversations I'm having instead of, hey, can I have a loan?
Right.
And Chad, this is why I want your CRM system, okay? So,
it's in the oven. It's in the oven.
So because you're talking about the time and all that stuff, okay? But it's
absolutely,
it's game changing because I went from a loan mentality to I'm a business owner now that just happens to do mortgages. Right.
That's excellent. That's key. You're running it like this is a business for you. You're not just doing loans. You're a business owner, and the loans just so happen to be the product that you bring to the market. But you have an actual asset here you have a database and an audience. You have multiple streams of income that you've built out here. Some coming in from self-generation, some coming in from referrals, and now you said you have people, coming after you, basically, seeking you out and giving you referrals, even not within the. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, that's such a rare thing to happen. But you've had all this happen. What's it been? 2 months? Just in the past 2 months, all this activity, or a month and a half, 2 months?
My very first day. Yeah, Chad, our very first day that you and I ever generated the leads was April 9th. April 8th and 9th was our first batch.
Wow. Absolutely. Well, I mean, you've done absolutely phenomenal.
I have all the stats.
Action. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I like about what you're doing here, and this is where I really said, you know what, I really need to chat with Chris, because one of the big differentiating aspects of what you're doing is, you track your numbers, you track your stats, and you track all your statistics at a high level. You're basically looking at everything. You're looking at your numbers, you're looking at your conversions, you're looking at your input versus output, time involved, expenses involved. I mean, that's such a rare thing to see loan officers doing, and the fact that you're doing this means that, when the question comes up, what's a good use of my time and what's not, where's a choke point that needs to be taken care of. I mean, because you got the numbers sitting right in front of you.
Right.
And I think that's just such a huge aspect of what brings such quick success is, when you're obsessive about those numbers, and this is our business. We're business owners, so we have to be obsessive about those numbers. And that's just a beautiful thing to see in action. So, triple thumbs up over here. I mean, that's just super
Well, I'm excited
for it.
Well, Chad, not to interrupt, here's why I'm excited for it. I've been dreaming about being equal partners with real estate agents since I've been in the business. I hate being treated like a commodity where I have no value.
Right.
Just test it with a passion. Because I was always the guy, and still am the guy, who'll show up at midnight to get the deal done. I work 18-hour days. I'll do all that. I'll do all that stuff. I'll have all those, those guys come in, and I'll work the 18-hour days 7 days a week. Just like every loan officer will, who cares about making sure that they deliver a product on time. And yet then you're traded as a commodity by a lot of real estate agents, and this is not just my song and dance. This is everybody's. Processing doesn't handle it right. Underwriting says, no, I don't like that deal. We've all had that experience where all of a sudden, like underwriting will do a deal that you shouldn't do, but you throw it against the wall, see if it sticks, and then the deal that does make sense, they say no to. And so, you get into that point or that process where literally, because they say no, the one deal that real estate agent at that time needed, and he couldn't make his mortgage payment, and he was relying on you for it, you're now fired. Right. Or, something happens because you were number one, and now there's 3 guys who are number 2. The guy who does 238 units in the first 6 months is what I call team warfare. He has teams of people working on it. For me to match him, as an example, if he's doing 20 deals a month, I can generate 5 without burning out my audience. And by the way, Chad, it's only 2 marketing messages out of 37.
Right.
Okay? That's not doing the listings of the real estate agent. There's 37 different marketing messages. I'm only using 2. So out of the 5 I can give him, my purchase price here is $150 to $200,000. Let's say it's $150, so I can generate, I don't know, it's the number $700,000. At 3%, because he's not double-ending it, he makes $20 a month. That's just about almost $250,000 to that real estate agent. His MSAs that he has in place now, I do know of, some of them pay him $5,000 a month. He has about 3 of them.
Right.
Okay. But that means that he has to generate all the business. He has to sift it. He has to clean it. And then he gets to hand off these people to the mortgage guys who just wait for him to do the work. They're paying for the seed and they're paying for the water, but they're not tilling the land. He can go to the same guy and say, look, I'll give you 5 deals. I'm going to pay you $21,000 a month. By the way, just take care of my clients. Oh, and if you've ever thought about concept of audiences, I can another 40 of those per month, and I can really grow your brand, and you're going to grow mine. Interested? Or you could just do all the work, pay all the labor to, till the field, and you're still not going to make as much money as if you did with me for less work.
Absolutely. So you
so
actually
from that perspective, I could nail them. I know I could get them.
Sure. Well, and what you've done here that's different is you've taken the time, instead of just saying, hey, I'm going to lump all realtors together and, just market to all of them the same, you've actually taken the time to look at, here's what this guy's doing, here's what his output is, here's what his expenses are, and here's, how much labor's going into, him producing this volume. Let's see where I can come in and add value. Let's see what do I bring to the table that's attractive to somebody like this. And that's what I love about what you're doing, is because a lot of loan officers, they look at somebody doing that much production and go, well, crap, why would anybody like that be interested in doing business with somebody like me? What can I bring? Somebody that just did 238 closings in 6 months, why would they really want to talk to some loan officer like me? But instead, you've approached it and said, hey, I have something of tremendous value here, and I know how much work goes into this, and I know what I can bring to the table. Here's how I can help him boost his brand with less effort and less output. And that's really what these people live and breathe, is when you're doing that much business. I mean, time is extra valuable. It's pure gold. And you've kind of weaved all of those messages and all those factors into your sales message to this person, and now you have them sitting down actually considering doing business with you, which is exciting stuff. So very, very powerful concept there.
Well, and the fun part is I actually have here's this, Chad, my mind has been blown over the last 6 months. Here's interesting, is that one of the companies wants to hire me specifically because they're trying to go after his business. I sat down with them twice. I said, what's your USP, your unique selling position? How are you going to get this guy to do business with you? We're going to pay him stupid money. You're not going to get him to do it. He goes, you don't know what you're talking about? Yeah, I do. I've actually talked to your competitors who also want to hire me that actually told me how they actually retain his business. I know exactly what they're doing for their MSAs. I said, more money doesn't mean anything to him. What he's actually looking for is loan officers that are not so lazy. He wants somebody who's actively engaged or a partner in the business. And the other companies that want to hire me don't get it. They want my system. They want everything here. They want to hire me so they don't lose his account and enhance his account and make sure that they still get to live off of that. Because he's made it announced quietly that he's actually looking for a partner, and now everything's up for grabs. Wow.
And that's the key word. I keep use the word partner. That's the key word.
Right. Yeah. And I can offer that. Before, I was, hey, I can give great rates, and I close on time, and I make you look good, and, I can dance real well. No. That's your job. That's what you're supposed to do. And I can understand why real estate agents really detest getting, like, commission breast sales calls, as Brian says it. Just, commission breast.
Right.
I guess it's the commission breast. They get 5 phone calls. Well, I can do good work. I can do good work for you. Can I take? That doesn't pay their bills. They'll they'll go to lunch with you just because they want a meal, but they're not going to give us.
Right.
I wouldn't. And that's my test. If I'm going to be the most skeptic I could possibly be, and come back with this and say, if I wouldn't do it, then I don't expect them to. What do I want from my real estate agents? I want business. Why? Because it feeds my family. What am I going to do for them? I got to do the same thing.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. The question that's probably on most people's minds is how much time on a typical week, now just ignoring, the whole realtor part of the equation, but when it comes to generating the leads, the part of that makes everything else possible, when it comes to generating the leads, how much time on a typical week does it take for you to generate those leads?
Depends on how much I put into it. Like how much I put, how many leads I want.
Okay.
As an example, I can spend $5 a day, and generate about 3 to 6 per day, which means it's pretty easy. I just spend $15 or $20 a day and generate 30 to 30 per day. If I'm, and generate like 90 to 100 leads a week, to do that, to find out, and then to start sifting through it, in the beginning it was a full-time job. It was 40 hours a week. Now it's gotten down to, if I generated 90 leads or 100 leads a week, I could probably do it in about 20, 25 hours.
Okay.
Because I got this a little bit better. So it's still, and for a cost of, if I generated 100 leads, it cost me $90.
Excellent.
So, and at 20 hours of my time, maybe 25 hours of my time.
Okay. And now, obviously not giving away the secret sauce here, but just kind of a sneak peek as to what goes into and how these leads are generated. Essentially, it's a two-step process here, and I guess depending on how you look at it, could be even beyond that, a multi-step process. But ultimately, we're taking people who are looking to either buy or sell a home, and we're taking them from Facebook off of that distracting platform onto a lead capture page, a landing page, and we're collecting some data, getting that micro commitment, and then on step 2, we're collecting even more data. And obviously, depending on what bait is used to get that click, everything from people who are looking to buy a home, to sell a home, to at various stages of the home buying process. But ultimately, we take that data and then we follow up via phone, as well as putting them into a drip feed follow-up system as well to warm them up and prepare them for the call and all that good stuff. But would that be kind of in a good nutshell, notes version of the process?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Don't forget to also text message them, too. That's something else I discovered by accident.
Absolutely.
They had voicemails. There's about 4 or 5 guys that just had their voicemails full. All right, well, what the heck? So I ended up texting them. I got 4 clients by text messages. I didn't even talk to them. I said, hey, you put some information in. You want, I'm the guy who helped you. What can I do? What can we do here, 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 here? And they went, oh, great. Yeah, I'm totally interested. I said, by the way, your voicemail's full. Yeah, I know. I had to fix that. I'm glad you texted me. Okay.
And how quick do you follow up with your leads?
By just a simple text message.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. And how soon are you following up when a lead comes in? Let's say something came in right now. You're on this call. Is this something that hey, as soon as you're off this call, boom, I'm following up with them, or what's your thought process on the speed of follow up?
Mm-hmm. Most of the time. Yeah, it's started watching that as well. If you're not following up within the first half hour, you follow up within the first half hour, it's 80-90% of the people will actually convert beyond just the landing page. And then if you're following up like 2 days, 3 days later, it starts dropping pretty significantly. If you try following up a week later, you're just not going to get the conversion ratio that you need. But here's the fun part. I already got their information. In fact, one of the things I'm going to be starting over the weekend is the people I tried in the beginning of April, I'm going to be retargeting them again. And I'm also going to be ending up, sending out fresh emails to them saying, look, I know we talked. We didn't have a chance to talk. That's okay. I'm here to help and work this out with you. So just because I didn't have a conversation with them in April or beginning of May doesn't mean I'm going to just reach out to them, because that's part of my audience.
Right. Excellent. So you have a means of refreshing those leads as well down the road. So once you've captured even that basic data, it's not a single swing at the bat anymore. You're able to get in front of them repeatedly on demand. Beautiful. Well, absolutely love what you're doing here. Obviously you've gotten the attention of lots of lots of folks locally, and you have people clamoring for your business now, and agents doing everything that they can to keep on your good side, and obviously other folks want you to come to work for them. So, I mean, that's just super exciting. All that in less than 2 months. I mean, that's definitely career changing. So really, really excited that you took the opportunity to chat with us and share with some other loan officers, what you've created here and how quickly. So I really do thank you for taking the time to chat and answer all these questions.
Yeah, my pleasure indeed. No problem. Glad I could help.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I think that about does it for my questions. Any final thoughts on your end, Chris?
No, just the only question I would ask is, are you a loan officer or are you a business owner? Today I was listening to this, that's all. Answer that question, everything else comes into focus. And you can answer that question honestly without anybody else being in the room and say, this is what I want in my life or this is what I don't want in my life. If you're a business owner, then design it as a business. Do it where you can actually hire people to do what you do. You can duplicate it. You can scale it. Otherwise, you're a loan officer. And there's nothing wrong with both answers. Just know what you're building. Know what you're doing.
You got it. Hitting the nail on the head there. So, yeah, very powerful question. Absolutely powerful question, and equally powerful answers to that question. So, I second that. What he said. So again, we absolutely thank you for taking the time to chat with us, and I'm excited to hear what other big things happen in the coming months.
Yeah, same here. I'm actually, it's been this way in the first 60. I hate to see what it looks like here.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Chris, and I hope the rest of your week is equally awesome, and I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon.
Yes, sir, you got it. Thanks very much.
All right. Thank you. Bye now.